Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for attending the session 7. For simultaneous interpretation, please use the receivers available at your seats and leave them on the desk after the session. Restrooms are located outside the venue to your left. Please set your mobile phones to silent mode, and if you need to make a call, please do so outside the venue. Smoking is not permitted inside the venue. Please use the designated smoking areas. Thank you for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for attending the session 7. For simultaneous interpretation, please use the receivers available at your seats and leave them on the desk after the session. Restrooms are located outside the venue to your left. Please set your mobile phones to silent mode, and if you need to make a call, please do so outside the venue. Smoking is not permitted inside the venue. Please use the designated smoking areas. Thank you very much for your cooperation. The program will begin shortly. Please take your seats. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for waiting. We will now begin session 7, Resilience, Response to Natural Disasters. And now I'd like to invite our speakers to the stage. Please take your seats. And let me introduce the speakers. The moderator is Professor Miho Ohara from University of Tokyo. The speakers are Mr. Geld G.P. van den Edde, Deputy Secretary General of Brussels. Mr. Francisco dos Santos, President of Dili. Mr. Penivao Moealova, Deputy Secretary of FUNAFTI. Mr. Yasha Barbaros Büyük Sagnak, Head of Foreign Relations Department of Istanbul. Mr. Van Nak Sen, Vice Governor of Phnom Penh Capital City. And Mr. Andro Pavuna, Head of the City Office for Municipal Self-Government, Transport, Communal Services, Civil Protection and Safety of Zagreb. And now I'll hand the microphone over to Ms. Ohara.
Distinguished guests and participants, good morning. Ohayou gozaimasu in Japanese. I'm Miho Ohara, Professor of Integrated Disaster Information Research in the University of Tokyo. I'm studying disaster management, disaster risk assessment, and risk communication. It's my great pleasure to join this session as a moderator today. This is the second day of this event, so as you know, this session invites a presentation from each city, and after that, we will have the Q&A. I really hope we can share the various good practice of the disaster issues among these invited speakers. Okay, now as the opening speaker, I would like to welcome Mr. Gerardo P. van den Ede from Brussels for his presentation. Please start your presentation for 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you for the interest in our presentation. Today we're going to talk about the way Brussels deals with its crisis management in response to natural hazards and disasters, and we will deal with, consequently, prevention, preparedness, crisis management, also in view of climate adaptation. The Brussels capital region may be known to you as the capital of Belgium, but maybe more than the capital of Belgium, the capital of Europe. It's very particular microcosmos because we have 1.2 million inhabitants on a very small surface, ranging from 7,500 inhabitants per square kilometer to more than 26,000 inhabitants per square kilometer. In comparison, Tokyo has some 15,000 inhabitants per square kilometer, so it's quite dense, very international. It is said to be the second international city in the world, but probably it's the first international city in the world if you take all the parameters into account. And we are the home to many, many international organizations, ranging from NATO to the European institutions and many, many more. And in this respect, being exposed to multiple natural and climate-related risks is a very important issue to us. First and foremost, we believe that the climate risk and the increasing natural risk are the most challenging to us, and from all these risks, floods are the most important to Belgium in particular, but also heat waves and extreme rainfall that is quite spectacular sometimes, combined with periods of severe drought, meaning that we need to change plantation, we need to change the type of trees that we have in our city, for instance, because otherwise trees will die. So everything has become more and more intense. We take risk analysis as the basis for our endeavor to deal with our disaster response methodology, and it's done in a plan, do, check, act way, with identification to start with and ending with evaluation of what we've done. So we think that we are taking a very integrated approach to our crisis management. As I've said, dealing with floods is the main issue, and that is composed out of several subsets. It has impact on housing, it has impact on public transport and also on critical infrastructure, and the causes can be multiple. Excessive rain, river overflow, sewer surcharge. We have a very old sewer system in Brussels because it's a pretty old city. It's from medieval times, the basis, and we still have some parts, I'm not exaggerating that, or exaggerating maybe a bit, but not that much, that stem from that period, and also rising groundwater. And we believe that the cartoon you see here says it all. Here you see where our vulnerability lies, and we have done a pretty good job in mapping this. You see the picture of 2019, followed by the picture of 2025, where the difference between the two is that we are now much more capable to be much more precise. And you see the dots where incidents might happen. So we thanks to modeling, quantitative hydraulic modeling, for instance, we can do a good job in the follow-up of the flood risk. We use an integrated emergency planning framework, which starts with a general plan, translated into specific plans, and then for some critical infrastructure, we have what is called the internal plans, and all that is embedded in a clear legal and operational framework that helps us in surviving. In terms of crisis management and response, we see that things are very structured. We have information to the public and integration of all the services, including logistics, that play a role. Also of importance is that we do a good job, we think we do a good job in involving the public, the citizens in managing disasters, for instance, by using them as the wisdom of crowds to point out where the risks might be. And as a general rule, we taking steps in...
Please summarize.
Yes. Taking steps in evolving from crisis response to more resilience, and air climate, water management plan, renature plans play a role in this. Thank you.
Thank you very much for very informative presentations. Next, we would like to welcome Mr. Francisco dos Santos from Delhi for his presentation. We will use this translator. Do you have this one?
I have, but thank you for moderator. Good morning. First of all, I feel honored to receive the invitation from Tokyo Metropolitan Governor Keiko Ioriku-san to attend this summit. So, 本当にどうもありがとうございます。I want to apologize to you all because I will do my presentation in my official language. So please use your translation equipment. Thank you. Timor-Leste, independencia há 20 de maio de 2002. Dili, Hanesang, capital Dili, deve uma população remoto que é 324.738. Dili, Hanesang...
Sorry, Timor-Leste gained its independence in 2002. Dili became the capital city. Population about 3,224,738. Dili is prone to flooding and heavy rains. Dili frequently experiences flash floods, landslides, and heavy monsoon winds, particularly in low-lying areas. Flood disaster risk reduction in capital Dili, Timor-Leste through the development of flood disaster risk reduction capacity, including the preparation of flood control plans and guidelines how to maintain rivers and streams in the capital. Dili supplementary action in response to the natural disaster. Identification of risk. Flood disaster risk reduction in the capital Dili, Timor-Leste through the development of flood disaster risk production capacity, including preparation of flood control plans and guidelines on how to maintain rivers and streams in the capital Dili. Following Dili municipal action in response to the natural disasters. First, identification of risk areas. By the end of 2025, 10 risk areas were identified. These 10 identifiers we focus on how to prevent. Dissemination of information on natural disaster risk management and emergency support for victims of natural disasters. This is how we prevent preliminary prevention to the risk areas. Following, we do reforestation. Municipality has plants, suitable plants such as bamboo, acacia, and the like to withstand erosion and rainwater.
Sorry, you had better change the slide. It is the first slide, so by clicker you can move the slide.
English.
Okay. Do you have clicker? Okay. I can do it. Sorry. Which slide I go?
Now we are fifth slide.
Okay, sorry.
Fifth slide, I think.
It's not coming.
Slide number 6.
先に進めてもらっていいですか? This one?
Go more. One more. One more.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A sedimentação e drenagem síria e cidade capital.
Cleaning sedimentation in the drainage of the capital of Delhi. The capital of Delhi is prone to flooding during the rainy season, and one of the main causes that existing drainage are narrow and filled with sediment and other waste. Delhi has a team to clean the drainage in the capacity city. Currently, the central government is also working to enlarge the drainage system through drainage construction. The government often conducts clean-up operation of drains and desilting of streams. Also, Delhi also do waste management. It's like we have explained already. And we have currently Delhi has compacted 6 lift 50 manual trucks to transport waste around the city to the final disposal. Delhi has a routed system. This routed system we adopted from the Japan, and that we implement in Delhi. In February 2026, heavy rain flooded several areas of Delhi, prompting response from the Civil Protection Aviation and natural disaster in Delhi municipality. In April 2021, floods regarded as the flooding 50 years, causing 56 fatalities and displacement in Delhi and prompting Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Sorry for the limited time. Next, we would like to welcome Mr. Penibao Moarofa from FNAFT for his presentation.
Thank you, moderator. As all salutations have been addressed, it is my pleasure to present to you our response measures to natural disaster from the perspective of a very small island city. Here's my overview of my presentation today. So Funafuti is the capital city of Tuvalu, located in the South Pacific. It's midway between Australia and Hawaii. It has a population of around 6,000, which holds 70% of the nation's population. Funafuti, as you can see in the photo, it has a 2.4 square kilometers, the widest area. Land area squares, 2.4 square kilometers. Its height above sea level, it's 3 to 4 meters. The maximum width, as you can see in the photo, it's around 600 to 700 meters. The thinnest part of the island is around 20 meters, and most of the island are with this range. So climate change and natural disaster are still our #1 priority. So given our unique and special circumstances that put us in the front line of countries and islands that are extremely vulnerable to climate change and natural disaster. Sea level rise, as you can see in the photo, in land flooding, it's not caused by heavy rainfall or river flows, but it's actually seawater coming underneath the ground. It happens frequently in every high tide of the month, but it's more worse when it comes to king tide, as the photo below. Second, frequent tropical cyclones usually comes with a lot of devastation, including coastal erosion, storm surges, coastal flooding. Yes. So we know the issue. It brings a lot of devastation to, including to people's properties, particularly the one located near the coastal. So our response measures is to have a land reclamation. This is one of our main priority. As you can see in the photo, we have completed one of the land reclamation a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. This land reclamation addressed the issue relative to sea level rise, coastal erosion, storm surges, and as well as coastal flooding. So what technologies we use? We use the LiDAR and GIS to obtain information to do the designing phase. So it's much quicker. It takes a couple of months to do the planning before the actual work being carried out. So a number of consultations have been held with government officials in the communities to inform of the designing of the project before it starts. We use the dredging machine to dredge sand from the lagoon and fuel the coastal area. We use heavy plants to fuel sandbags and leveling the ground. All of this work are currently manned by our local recruiter staff, but the work is supervised by a company from overseas. We fuel sandbags to lay out on the edge of the coastal line to protect the quick erosion of the sand. So other information I'd like to share to you, we have the TCAP, the initial TCAP. TCAP stands for Tuvalu Coastal Adaptation Project. The one I showed you in slide 6, it has 7.3 hectares of land areas. We also have the TCAP 1A. In the previous slide, has 8 hectares. And currently in progress, the TCAP 1B, which are 5.4 hectares. It's all up to 5 to 6 meters height above sea level, with the forecast of sustaining the coastals of the island for more than 100 years. The ratio of the cost is approximately 3.2 million by 400 meters length and 25 meter width. The TCAP 1 has a total budget of 38 million, TCAP 1B 19 million, TCAP 1B it's 18 million. The cost it goes down because all the equipments and machinery are in Tuvalu, so not much to bring from overseas. Here's some way forward: build capacity, continue engagement of local staff, and enhance some policies, and cooperate with the international community. I have a very short video to play. I don't know if I can play this. 2, 3. So here's the TCAP 1A. Here's the marina. We used to shelter our boats during stormy season. So here's the sandbags being laid out at the coastal area. So you can see most of the work have been carried out. Now just leveling and moving of the equipment to the other side. So it's pretty much helped to address the resilience of the island city, to the impacts of natural disaster. So yeah, that's pretty much of it for the credits. Arigatou gozaimasu.
Thank you very much for a very interesting presentation. Next, we would like to welcome Mr. Yaşar Barbaros Büyük Sagunas from Istanbul for his presentation.
Thank you. Dear participants, it's a great pleasure for us to be here in Tokyo again with Mrs. Zeynep Neyza Akşabay, our Deputy Secretary General of Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality. Our sincere thanks and appreciations to the Tokyo Metropolitan Government for their kind hospitality, as always. And I had the privilege of moderating one of the sessions last year. And this time I'm pleased to return to share Istanbul's perspective on urban resilience. The Istanbul Strait, widely known as the Bosporus, is one of the most important choke points in the world. The local government of the city, Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, is currently administered by acting mayor Mr. Nuri Aslan due to the unjustly imprisonment of elected mayor Mr. Ekrem İmamoğlu, which many view as politically motivated. With over 16 million people, the cat capital of the world, Istanbul is Europe's largest city and one of the world's most dynamic urban centers. With over 8,500 years of urban history and the former capital of the Roman and Ottoman empires, Istanbul spans two continents, uniting heritage with modern life. It's also Turkey's economic engine, generating 1/3 of GDP itself. This is why resilience in Istanbul is not only a local issue, but also a national, maybe a global one. For Istanbul, the climate crisis and disaster risk are not abstract challenges, but urgent urban realities. As Turkey's only C40 member city, we set the goal of a carbon neutral and resilient city in 2050, supported by the European Union mission for climate neutral and smart cities. Our climate plans, including the Istanbul Climate Change Action Plan, guide our efforts. In this spirit, Mayor İmamoğlu values networks like GNETs for solidarity and cities' climate responsibility. Resilience also means earthquake preparedness for Istanbul, a city that lives with the constant reality of earthquakes. We launched a broad coordination and developed our earthquake mobilization plan through risk analysis and expert input. We approach this issue as an engineering problem and a matter of governance, social justice, and long-term urban planning, allocating a significant share of our budget accordingly. We also provide public awareness through disaster education programs, including our virtual reality training bus for children and young people. Flood resilience is another key pillar of Istanbul's broader disaster risk management efforts. In recent years, we have significantly expanded the city's stormwater infrastructure, addressed chronic flooding in many high-risk areas, and delivered stream rehabilitation works across a wide network. Most importantly, the locations where these interventions have been completed, no flooding has been observed during periods of heavy rainfall. Drought resilience is becoming increasingly critical for Istanbul. A significant share of the city's drinking water comes from the mainland system, located in a different city, 189 kilometers away and connected through the Bosporus crossing tunnel. As water demand has grown rapidly, reducing water loss and leakage has become one of the most effective ways to protect our resources. For Istanbul, drought resilience therefore means protecting water resources, reducing system losses, and promoting more efficient water use. Compared with many major global cities shown in the slide, Istanbul's water loss rate remains relatively low. No need to mention Tokyo. As water demand has grown, To conclude, Istanbul resilience agendas is multi-layered, inclusive, and science-based, I'm finishing, and investment-driven. We believe that stronger cities can only be built through preparation, cooperation, and long-term commitment. Thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu.
Thank you very much. Next, we would like to welcome Mr. Bannak Sen from Phnom Penh capital city for his presentation.
Good morning, everyone. thank you, Professor, for giving me the floor. I'm Wanak Singh, Vice Governor of Phnom Penh, and I'm here to present the city of Phnom Penh, the capital of Cambodia. The territory is almost 700 square kilometers, divided into 14 districts, in which the population is actually counted as 2.5, almost 2.5 now, but the daily time, we count more than 3 million people come and go inside of the city center. And also the density of the population, we can see that it's quite dense, the 3,000 people per square kilometers. But the area, the center areas and the new areas of Phnom Penh, we can see that it's a city next to 4 rivers, and the 4 rivers is the Mekong rivers and Tonle Sap rivers and Tonle Basak, where it goes to the sea. So this water is a blessing, but it's also a threat. During the rainy season, the city of Phnom Penh has grown, have been threatening each year during 6 months of the year. Is a rain season. During the rainy season, the city is threatening to be flood, and so the royal government of Cambodia has created the mechanism of the management of disasters with the different level. That the governmental level, we have the committee, the national committee, and then the city hall of Phnom Penh has its own management committee, and also to the district that we call KAN, the Disaster Management Committee. This is all that the creation of the human resources, mobilize human resources and authority to work during the disaster, during flood in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. And Phnom Penh has had a big flood during 2 years, consecutive 2 years, 2017 and 2018. We have developed the smart approach of tools to early warning system to check the level of the water of the river, and to send this signal if the level reach the critical level. It's give the information and send the SMS alert to the citizen. And also the smart civilian. This smart civilian, we use the camera, AI camera, to check the level of the water. And as also we have the various cooperation projects. First, we have the help of government of Japan on the drainage system, but the big grant aid, many millions US dollars has been paid, and then build the system anti-flood. And also this project is a cooperation project with the Association of French-speaking mayors, where Cambodia, Phnom Penh is vice president of that association, and then we got the fund to create the book to prevent, to help in case of flooding, how all those citizens can do. And this implementation of the site of that project. This is the camera that we have set on site, and this is the map of now the big project, mega projects funded by all different partners. And as you can see, Japan is the first collaborator and helper of Phnom Penh. And this is the map that we create all the canals and the lake of to keep the rainwater and also to treat the rainwater, to use water to treat before that the water can throw back to the river. And so this is all the big projects surrounding the big Phnom Penh, Greater Phnom Penh, to now that we to prepare against the natural disaster. Thank you.
Thank you very much for very informative presentation. Next, would like to welcome the last presentation from Mr. Andro Pavuna from Zagreb.
Thank you. So first, a few words about Zagreb. We have a little short of 800,000 inhabitants in an area almost as large as Phnom Penh, so it's a much less dense city. But what's interesting in this slide is that we have 500,000 vehicles, of which is 400,000 motor cars. So every second person in Zagreb has a car. There's 10 babies born a day. 5 of those babies already own a car. And it's another problem when we talk about resilience and climate change and so, but that's maybe for another panel. So these are a few more darker numbers. 624, 6 years ago, an earthquake hit our city. It was 5.5 Richter scale, and 1 person lost their life. I read in today's newspaper that there was an earthquake about 6.5 in Hokkaido, and nothing as severe as what I'm going to show you happened, because in Zagreb we weren't prepared for such an earthquake, even though we should have expected it. So it was a wake-up call for us. This is a short video what it looked like on the street. We were lucky that it happened on a Sunday at 6 a.m. during the COVID lockdown, so we only had 1 casualty. If something like that has happened, for example, last Friday when there were tourists and thousands of people on the streets, it would have been deadly for thousands of people. So this is what our streets looked like the next day. Our cathedral lost its towers, and a lot of people lost their homes. There's another story, almost as dark, as 2 people lost their lives in this heavy storm. It lasted for only 15 minutes, and 10,000 trees were swept away in our city. We learned that nature does not care if you're ready or if you're not ready. It just does what it's meant to do. Our city looked as if a bomb collapsed. All the streets were blocked. A lot of damages on the roofs, on cars and so. And actually, it was on 2023, 19th of July, and we weren't ready to address it. Even one of the construction cranes completely fell, which is really rare for it to happen. The person inside luckily survived with only his arm broken. We understood that we were doing too little too late, and we had to employ a tactic of leapfrogging. We had to jump, learn from the mistakes of other cities and their experiences, and jump forward, go on a fast track. So what we did, we funded a lot and we managed people. We understood that people love doing meaningful things. We invested a lot in civil protection, and a lot of people joined our cause. So now we have almost an army of volunteers that are prepared, that have the equipment all around the city, that have rules, hierarchy, their own cell phone applications, communications. So in terms of organizing during these events, we are very much ready to address similar challenges. This is what happened a month ago. I was in Ljubljana talking about resilience, and it was end of March. And actually the storm I talked earlier was the largest before this one that happened a month ago. It lasted for 40 hours, and again 10,000 trees. Those are 10,000 new trees that were broken. A lot of roofs had damage again. Again, a lot of trees all over, but we were ready. We managed, even though the storm lasted for 40 hours, the people our teams were on the street, and we invested heavily in our fire department. We doubled the yearly budget from 11 to 21 million euros in only a few years, and these very special equipment, grappling hook trucks, I don't know the English expression, which are very rare in Croatia. So now we used to have 11 of them, now we have 35. So there were 35 teams at every moment all around the city, quickly removing the trees from the road and helping people. The second largest city in Croatia has only 4 of them, so we now have 35 and counting more, so we can help other cities, even in neighboring countries, which we do, and in other cities in Croatia. What we did next in terms of the earthquake preparedness, we mapped all of the buildings in our city. There was a very detailed list where we mapped every single, so construction engineer, civil engineers mapped all the buildings. And we now can simulate what would happen if another earthquake would hit a city. These are real numbers. These are the fatalities and the amount of euros. So there's billions of euros that we can expect in our city, where the most damage will happen, what will happen, so we can have evacuation plans and so on. In terms of resilience to natural disasters and storms, we are also planting a lot of trees, 8,000 trees a year, which, as you might have noticed, only one storm can delete in a moment. Also, when we talk about Japan, there's this Miyawaki forest, like this pocket forest idea, where the soil is much more spongier and can absorb flash flooding. So it's also another thing where we can address climate change, and this is what we are doing to make our city more resilient to further storms. We have a digital twin of our city with every building and every tree completely scanned with LiDAR equipment, so that we can make simulations and so on. And my 5 minutes is over, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for very informative presentations. Now, thanks to your cooperation for keeping time, we have 20 minutes question and answer time. So I would like to ask a question to one by one, each presenter. First, I would like to ask Mr. Gerardo P. Van ten Ede from Brussels. So I'm sorry for the very limited time. And actually, in the last slide, you showed the 3 major plans, including the air, climate, energy plan, and water management plan, and re-nature plan. So, and that time for that slide was too short. So then could you explain more about your 3 plans?
Yes, in a way, we think that the planning is plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. That's, I think, a very important saying, which means that we should keep going for developing a framework that is composed of some essentials. One is an instrument to make sense of a situation. Another one is acknowledging that there exists a reliability network, which is important because we need the intersections. A third one is to make sure that we have adaptive planning and not a static planning. And a fourth one is that we can continue to learn from what we have done and try to manage drifting away from procedures. Let me highlight some of these elements, maybe not all because of the time issue, but a lot of the information systems that we use, and as a professor in the field you will acknowledge, I suppose, is that they are meant for making decisions. But in fact, the huge problem with all these plans is making sense of a situation and creating a shared situational awareness. And I believe that our information systems should be built in such a way that they support that kind of interaction. And another thing, for instance, in relationship to planning is that a plan is not an island, because in disaster management it's a network of organizations, be they political, infrastructure, logistics, etc., that need to cooperate. And for that reason, making sure that there is a governance structure that is working, making sure that there is enough trust between the partners is a very, very important issue. And the last thing maybe is that if you cannot have plans that are capable of being adapted on the spot, you know that you will fail. For instance, if you see that every plan, how matter how good it is, doesn't survive the first contact with reality. You shouldn't put all your money in the plans, but more in mechanisms that help us dealing with the plans. And exercises should not be in training people in how to meticulously follow the plans, but more in being creative in their responses when something doesn't seem to go according to the plan.
Thank you very much for your additional informative explanations. Next, I would like to ask Mr. Francisco dos Santos from Delhi. Again, could you wear this one? Because question and answer will be by way of this translator. Okay, I found that the Delhi municipality have made a lot of efforts to reduce the risk of flooding. However, now Delhi still have the flooding during rainfall. So what is a key issue for your city to reduce the future flood?
Thank you, good question.
Obrigado. Thank you. Very good question. This I want to let you know that Delhi municipality at the moment working on how to prevent the risk areas in for natural disasters. At the moment, Delhi municipality did afforestation, but it's not maximum yet. We planned a proper plan around Delhi area. Delhi has not yet a good urban plan yet, and all the drainage not proper yet. That's why you have flooding always happening. We try to do our effort to work with other agencies like international developments like Japan. We also working together with other ASEANs on how to reduce natural disasters that frequently happen in Delhi. And we are also in the process of transition for local decentralization. It means that Delhi is still under the government central, so still we are still under the central government to supervise us as a municipality, but we are working hard to prevent our natural disaster that will always happen in the capital city of Delhi. On the other part, we are now, we don't have in place on regulation to punish citizens which destroy the plantation and also throw rubbish not in a proper place. We have waste management, but we don't have the strong regulation to punish citizens who throw rubbish not in a proper place. But we are working hard, and we need support from others, and also especially for the development partners in the capital city of Delhi. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your additional information. Next, I would like to ask Mr. Penibao Moarofa from FNAFT. So you mentioned the sea level rise is very important, and you are doing the land reclamation project, which is called TCAP, TICAP. Then I was so surprised that the target area of TCAP project is so huge, such as 7.3 hectare, etc. So, and I have a question. What kind of difficulties do you have for conduct such wide areas project, and how you are doing the effort for effectively conduct such a project?
Thank you, moderator, for the question. And I think the initial challenge and difficulty is to do the designing. When we first work on the land reclamation project, it took a while to do the designing of the project. And now, as I mentioned in my presentation, we are using some of the software, the technology, such as the LiDAR, the GIS, and maybe some other technology as well, to obtain information of how thick the sand is from the lagoon, so we can design how big the land reclamation we can work. So with the presence of those information, we've been doing a very quick the project construction. For example, the TCAP 1A, which I show you in the last video, it took less than a year to reclaim the whole land, 8 hectares land area. The designing took a couple of months, and the reclamation, the physical reclamation took less than a year. All the equipments are currently in Funafuti, in Tuvalu, to do the work. And Tuvalu, also one of the country in the South Pacific to do this kind of work to protect its coastal. So I think that's much pretty how we are up to this level, but we still have a number of TCAP projects coming up in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I understand that technology can support such a process. Thank you so much. And next, I would like to ask Mr. Yaşar Barbaros Büyüksagnak from Istanbul. I understood that Istanbul is facing the problem of drought and water scarce problem. And what is Istanbul's main structural vulnerability in terms of drought or water security?
Thank you for your question. I would like to give you more information, and also I need to give you some more figures. Mm-hmm. So if I may frame it in a broader strategic terms, Istanbul's main structural vulnerability is not drought in isolation, but systemic water dependence under growing climate pressure. As a mega city, Istanbul depends on complex water system shaped by reservoirs, interbasin transfers, transmission infrastructure, watershed security, and rising urban demand. Water resilience is therefore not only a climate issue, it's also a matter of infrastructure reliability, land use planning, and metropolitan governance. This is why we increasingly approach drought through data. The Istanbul Planning Agency helps us identify these long-term risks through data-driven analysis and metropolitan scale planning. IPA figures shows that Istanbul's surface temperature range between 21 and 45 degrees Celsius, and that by 2030, areas exposed to both flood and drought risk may increase by 2.5 times. It also highlights how gray surfaces trap heat and how children, elderly residents, and lower income communities are among the most vulnerable groups. These findings matter because heat waves and urban heat island effects reinforce each other. Dense and poorly planned urban areas absorb more heat, especially where green areas, permeable surfaces, ventilation corridors, and blue-green infrastructure have been weakened. Uncontrolled overdevelopment therefore increases climate vulnerability, raises water demand, and places additional pressure on fragile water resources. Istanbul's Water and Sewerage Administration 2025 data makes this pressure very clear. Istanbul's annual water consumption reached 1.1 trillion cubic meters, with average daily consumption around 3.2 million cubic meters and peak daily use reaching 3.75 million cubic meters on 24th of July last year. The same data shows that mainland system alone accounted for roughly 40% of Istanbul's water use in 2025, underlining the city's dependence on external water sources. So thank you for your question again.
Thank you very much for additional information. I would like to go to the next presentation. I will ask Mr. Banak Sen from Phnom Penh capital city. In your slide, you introduced the use of smart approaches and tools. And among that, I was so impressed with the word of AI camera. Could you explain more about AI camera on what kind of mechanism of using AI and how AI assists the emergency response?
Thank you for your question, Professor. And actually, this system is created to check where the dam and the canals we have the blockage of the water, like the water doors. If the level of the rivers reach a certain level, because we know our level of the city, if the camera check and reach one level particularly, for example, if it reached 10 meter deep of Mekong River, the whole Phnom Penh will be flooded. So when this camera, we set the system to check that level, and on one kind of rules that the smart camera is AI camera can send the signal to the committee, to the professional on natural disaster, especially the committee of the natural disasters. So it's so important that the creation of the hierarchy of the management leadership, it's very important, because we have the level of the governmental level, city level, and the district levels. These three structures of leaders, they work together, and all these data is shared to, for example, for Phnom Penh capital city, we have this camera, the numbers of the cameras that check every point of the that where that water can flood the city, because we have two type of flood. The flood is one is from the upper stream of the city that come up from the small hillside of because the situation of the city is quite good, because we are under the level a little bit to be protected from the storm, but the water can threat every year. So, and also the level of Mekong River, and that is also each year we prepare, and this AI camera is so necessary, important for us, because we can employ people to just check 24/7. So AI camera is here to help us. So technically, this is very helpful lately, and then it can give us the real data of where we should implement our mega projects to protect our city, because we have the government has no intention to move our capital city from Phnom Penh. So we will have to be resilient in this city. So we will use the best of the technology to help our management. Thank you.
Thank you very much for very interesting explanations. For the last questions, I would like to ask the final presenter, Mr. Andro Pavna from Zagreb. You introduced the various efforts by using the 3D building map It's very interesting to visualize such a disaster risk by using building 3D map. In the map, I observed that there is a red or green or yellow color on the building in the map. I'm not sure how you are showing. Is it the seismic safety of each building or what? Could you explain more on how you are using such visualization of 3D building map? And are you also using this map for increasing people's awareness or designing the countermeasures? Please explain more.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, that's correct. So the color coding was based on the safety of a particular building. We have little over 300,000 buildings that were all monitored. So every building was scanned, both during with this LiDAR equipment, and as I said, civil engineers have checked the structural integrity of every building, and also made this data sheet. When is it built? What kind of is it bricks or concrete or in strengthened concrete, whatever. So yes, now we have like a score for every building, so we can expect, and when we do simulations, we can expect what will happen when a certain seismical event or earthquake hits our city. So we can expect how many, as I said and showed on a particular neighborhood in our city, because some neighborhoods are older and have worse buildings. Some are newer, built by the newer code, and we had the most recent code in 2012. So the buildings after 2012 are resilient to earthquake that are expected in our city, but the buildings built before, especially the ones built before 1969, when there was a large earthquake in Macedonia. So the code in Yugoslavia has been implemented. Those buildings are at risk for earthquake damage. So now in the last 6 years, we have been having very significant renovation of the old city. So if you visit our city, even now, 6 years after, there are cranes and work all around the old town, where you can see the strengthening and strengthening of old cities, which is a process that is really expensive and really hard, because you have to take care of the cultural value of those cities. You cannot just demolish them. So it sometimes means that only the facade will stay, and you have to make foundations on a existing building, which is for construction really expensive and really hard in those narrow and old city buildings. But yeah, that's what we're doing. And in terms of public awareness, yes, I mean, part of this data is public, but it's also, I think, maybe even politically hard to publish the data because of the value of those real estate. So at one side, it is, I would say, responsible on our side to give honest data to anyone who wants to buy an apartment in such a building, so that they know what kind of risk can they expect. On the other hand, the people who own this building might find this, that it crashes the value of their own building. So now we're thinking of a model how to do it in a proper way, to be responsible for anybody who buys building, and then again, not to make a lot of owners, immediately lose their value.
Thank you very much for your additional explanations. Now we are almost reaching to the end of these sessions. I would like to quickly summarize today's presentations and Q&A for our understanding. So in our session, cities shared their experience in the field of flood disaster, coastal disaster with sea level rise or drought or earthquakes, etc. Again, we realized that we are facing a variety of natural disasters. For For coping with these disasters, I was so impressed with your data-driven approaches and use of the technologies such as LiDAR topographical data or camera or video, etc. Of the real-time basis. By sharing these advanced technologies use from each city, I believe that we can enhance our own countermeasures against coming disasters. So I think this session was very precious for knowing each other and considering our own countermeasures in the future. Thank you very much again for your very, very precious and informative presentations.
Thank you very much, everyone. And we will now take a commemorative photo. So could you please line up at the center of the stage? Smile. Okay. Thank you very much. And now, everyone, please give another round of applause to the speakers. Thank you. And this concludes session 7. Session 8, Resilience, Promoting Greenery, will take place next door in the Palais Royal AB room. The session will begin at 10:15, so please make your way to the venue in time. Speakers for the next session are kindly requested to gather in the briefing room at 10:05, 10 minutes prior to the start. Please enjoy the break. Thank you very much for joining us.